We started out today with the plastic bag. It's going to take Aries a very long time to get used to that plastic bag. The wranglers at the corrals use them to move the horses around. So his first real human experience was with a plastic bag. Probably not his favorite memory. The lower I go down his body, the more scary the bag becomes. Horses are programmed to dislike things moving around their feet. It's hard for them to see down there. When Aries jumps away like that, I just ignore it and go right back to what I was doing. By giving any attention to his fear, I magnify it. And as always, attention and praise are well earned. Aries really likes these breaks, and now he is seeking the soothing sensation of being rubbed, on his forehead in particular. Here the wind blew open the bag a little bit, and Aries sought shelter from it behind me. It's cute to see him decide there is something scarier than me. I am continuing to work on rubbing Aries' muzzle. For some reason, he is very protective of it. It could be the smell of my hand directly over his nose. Could be he somehow accidentally smacked his nose when he was at the corrals. Or he may just be very particular about his nose. In any case, we gotta work on it. When going to pet Aries' hind end, I make sure to bring his head around with me. This will hopefully make it harder for him to kick if he feels the need to. With his head turned towards me, his body is already bent in a left arc, so that means his hind end would swing away from me if he gets startled. Someone recently asked me why Aries is more skittish on the right than on the left. There are many potential reasons, but the most likely one is that he is left-sided, meaning, just like you or I are left or right-handed, he works most easily on the left side. All horses have a preferred side. The trick is to try and keep the sides balanced. Here I went to pick up Aries' foot, and he let me hold it for a second or two. This was a first. I had to step back and tell him what a good boy he was. After a little more touch, we did some leading, and I asked him to go over the log, which he really would much rather go around. When you first get a Mustang, it's easy to think they are spooky and nervous Nellies. But once they gentle down, their true personality comes out, and Aries is lazy. Here's a little treat. Aries and Picasso having some fun. But watch how Aries doesn't ever get quite as exuberant as Picasso. I wanted to show you how I want Aries to be in the end, once he fully trusts me. Picasso hasn't worked with a plastic bag much, but he trusts me completely. And he's trick trained, so he likes to show off every now and then. I've had this horse since he was a year old. He is now 8. He will pretty much do whatever I ask. And that's because I've never asked him to do anything that would hurt him. So he is confident that even if he is scared, I won't ask him to do something he can't do. Here you'll see the difference between rubbing a wild horse and patting a wild horse. Aries isn't quite ready for patting. I first took Aries through the various obstacles in the arena. I had a big surprise for Aries today. A tarp. But for him, basically a giant plastic bag. When starting with something like a tarp, I always go very slowly. We are in no rush. He needs to feel comfortable walking over it, not like he has to cross it at light speed, preferably without touching the ground. Each time he even leaned or stepped an inch closer, I released. Stepping on the tarp was like stepping on a giant plastic bag for him. I was incredibly proud of him. I also quickly noticed that he wanted to be rubbed on his face and was willing to come toward me on the creepy tarp just to get that soothing rub. Do I know how to incentivize or what? Since Aries was having trouble stepping over the rim of the tarp, I decided to cover the rim with sand so it wouldn't stick up so much. Closer. 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 And we're on it. I knew once he got just one back foot on the tarp, he would be a little bit more nervous. But he settled pretty quickly. And finally, he made his first skittery run across the tarp. What a brave horse. To ensure any new skill is good and in their brain, it's best to repeat it several times, take a break, come back, and repeat it some more. I really wanted to get a hold of Aries' tail, which he has turned into one big dreadlock. But some horses are touchy about their tails. Picasso gets very grouchy when I brush his. So I didn't know how Aries would handle me touching his tail, but I have to find out sometime. He did just fine, and later he even let me start to brush it out. By next week, he'll have a dread-free tail. Couple more times over the tarp for good measure. And what you do going one way, you should do going the other way. My friend Ingrid came out this weekend to see the boys, and I wanted to share some of her photos with you.